Hi guys, a long time no see. I apologize for being gone for so long. Basically, I just got stuck in the biggest exam season ever and I just spent my entire July basically studying and not reading. I did so little reading. I think I read maybe like one book, maybe one and a half. So it really wasn't a great reading month. So there wasn't really any content I could make. However, I am now severely behind my Goodreads challenge. I think I'm 2 books behind, but on my story graph I also have a page challenge, and on the page challenge I am 1,500 pages behind. It literally pains me to say that because I was so on top of my Goodreads challenge for the entire year. I was always maybe like a couple books behind, but never by a lot. And suddenly I'm so far behind and I can't. Anyway, that is what I've decided, that to start July I would be doing a 48-hour readathon. And in those 48 hours, I would try to read exactly 1,500 pages to catch up on my Goodreads challenge. So I'm basically going to try and read 1,500 pages in 48 hours. I think I've calculated that if my average reading pace, reading speed, I don't know how you call it, is 60 pages in an hour, then it would take me, I think I calculated, and I think it was 25 hours to read 1,500 pages. So I would technically only need 25 hours out of those 48 to finish my reading goal, or to like get on top of my reading goal. Not finish it, I'm far away from finishing it, but to get on top of it. So that's kind of my goal, is to get to that. I have planned more time than I should need, but also I'm definitely gonna sleep. And there's already the first obstacle because I woke up with such a bad migraine, and I get those migraines where like your vision goes kind of blurry. So for the last like 2 hours, I have not been able to see anything. I couldn't read, like even just like messages on my phone, I couldn't read them. So it's slowly getting better. It's still not perfect. It's still a little bit blurry. So if I seem a bit dazed right now, that's why. But I'm still gonna try because I don't really want to postpone it. I have other plans in the next few days. So today and tomorrow is really the only time I can do this. So I don't really want to postpone it. So I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna try and still read as much as I can, but it might be a bit less because of the migraine. I also might have to do some like small errands. I think I need to do a food shop at some point because I have no food in the house. And I also have like small things I need to do tomorrow, but I think I can still read as much as I can in the next 2 days, and I think I should be able to read 1,500 pages. So let me show you my TBR and what I plan to be reading. So I plan to finish the book I'm currently in the middle of, which is this one here. This is Reserved by Bridget L. Rose, and this is a Formula One romance. This is all I've been reading this month. Like, I've only read Formula One romances in July just because, I don't know, they were really easy, they were really fast reads, and I just had a lot of fun with them. This one in particular is about a male Formula One driver and then the daughter of a team principal of another team, and she works in like the media. She's like a sports journalist, and she is assigned like a new role to be a journalist for Formula One basically. And they meet and it's very insta-lovey. He immediately is obsessed with her and he tries his hardest to get her to date him. It's fun. It's nothing special. It's really stereotypical. It's giving self-insert fan fiction, but you know what, sometimes when you're really stressed and really busy in life, you need a little bit of a romance that feels like fan fiction. So I am enjoying it. It is really fun. I'm currently on page 256, so I'm 58% of the way through and I have a little under 200 pages left. So I think my first 200 pages will come from this book. Then the next book I have selected that I want to read for the 48-hour readathon is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. This is the 5th book in the Magnolia Park's universe, and I think it's the last book about Magnolia, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely the newest. It's the most recent Magnolia Park's book that there is, and I have been meaning to read it for so long, like ever since it came out and ever since I read the other books, and it's finally time. I'm finally like in a good headspace and I finally have enough time to read it. This is 710 pages, so if I read this and I finish Reserved, then I have roughly like 910, 930 pages. So somewhere around 900 pages. So this would be really good. I think Magnolia Parks is a good pick because it's really long, like it's 700 pages, but it's a romance, so it won't feel like 700 pages. It'll feel like incredibly shorter. So I think that's a good choice. And then once I have that, I have like 900-ish pages done. So I've then selected maybe a thriller. So I've selected My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix as a potential 3rd book. This is, I think it's like a horror thriller mixture. I don't actually know that much about it, but I think it's like a classic horror movie kind of. And I've been meaning to read this one for so long, and I love the concept of it and like the idea. So I'm really, really excited, and I have not read a thriller in absolutely ages. Like it's been literally months since I picked up a thriller. So I'm excited, and this is 330 pages. So if I read this as well, and we've got 900 pages so far, that will bring us to like 1,200 pages. So those are my plans as of now. I have not selected any more books. I know I'm technically still missing probably like one more book, but I didn't want to pre-plan too much because I like to be flexible and I like to have some choices. So yeah, those are my plans right now. I think for now I'm gonna go make coffee, probably sit on my balcony because my room is currently giving me like, it's too white. You know, my room is too bright and it's currently giving me a headache, so I think I'm gonna sit outside and pray that the stupid headache goes away and I can actually do some reading. Otherwise I will update you, but it is now 11:30 on Thursday, so we will go from 11:30 on Thursday to 11:30 on Saturday. So yeah, I will keep you updated how much I read, and I'll see you then. Okay guys, it has been a couple of hours. It's now 5 p.m. so it's been like, yeah, 5-ish hours I guess since I last spoke to you guys, and in that time I have finished Reserved by Bridget Rose. Very randomly, the book ended on a cliffhanger. I did not know this was a 2-part romance novel, but apparently it is. So now I will probably need to, at some point, read the 2nd book, although I'm not sure if I will, because to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I was honestly not a big fan of the plot, the characters, everything. It felt very self-insert fanfiction-y for me. I don't know, I just felt like it was the absolute standard like sports romance story of the famous male like athlete and then like a girl who has never had anything to do with the sport before and like gets sucked in and he immediately falls for her. And what really bugs me is that a lot of the times the athlete will be described as like the biggest fuckboy on the planet, like such a player, man whore, like can't commit to a girl, but then the second he meets the love interest, that all disappears and he's suddenly the perfect boyfriend. And this book was such a case of that. Like he was such a simp for her. He was simping for her in every way possible. It felt like very much like telling, not showing in a lot of ways. So first of all, obviously his fuckboy demeanor, we were just told he was a fuckboy. It was never shown on paper, because on paper he was the perfect boyfriend from the start. Like he was the perfect man. He was such a simp for her. So there was just a lot of telling and not showing. Also about the sport, I feel like you can write such exciting scenes in Formula One romances about the sport, and you can actually write interesting races. This felt very much like it was just telling you how the sport works. Like there were literally paragraphs that were just explanation of how a race weekend works, and I'm like, you could have, instead of telling us that in a whole paragraph as if this is like a manual for F1, you could have just written an exciting scene of a race weekend or like how it works. And like I just felt like there was a lot of missed potential, and I've now read a couple of F1 romances and this was probably my least favorite. I was thinking about maybe doing a video comparing all of the like Formula One sports romances I've read and like telling you which ones are a miss and which ones are better, so I might do that in the future. But for now, we are one book down, so we can get on to the next one. I forgot to check how my page goal is looking, but I will look it up right now and then I will tell you how many pages we have left to read. Okay, I just checked my story graph and we have a whole 1,274 pages left to read. That is still a lot, however, it's not 1,500 anymore. We've read about 230, 240 pages already, so I'm excited to get into it, especially because I read a lot more in the evening and like at nighttime, so I'm thinking that it's probably like it'll probably be better at nighttime, because in the morning it was just so hot and I had my migraine and like I was not reading super much. Like you can probably tell it took me 5 hours to finish this book, so I wasn't on my best behavior. But I think that now for the rest of the day I'm really excited to spend all of it reading. But I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a quick food shop. I'm going to just pop to a supermarket because I'm really craving some ice cream, so I think I'm going to get some ice cream, and I also need to just get some ingredients for like meals for the next few days. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and then I will probably be right back for you guys, and I'm going to tell you about Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, which is the next book I'm going to be starting. Okay guys, it is a bit later, it's about 9 p.m. now, so yeah, I started reading the Magnolia Park's book, Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, and it truly did not start calmly. It went straight into it. I low-key forgot on what cliffhanger the third book ended, because oh my fucking god, I was not prepared to get so deep into it. And when the title said Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, like that is the truth. They did not come to play. It went into such dark topics and dark themes that I just did not expect whatsoever. We go straight into the depression, the grief, the eating disorders, like anything that you thought about the first like 4 books that was dark is in this book. And oh my god, I'm currently about 100 pages in. So far we've had like a couple of flashbacks, we've sort of gotten back into like the present day timeline of what's happening, and stuff's going on. Honestly, there hasn't been that much like happened yet. There's not too much like plot so far, there's no like major beef or anything, but there's a lot of emotion, and it feels like definitely the darkest and heaviest of the Magnolia Park's books so far. So I'm really excited to read it. I'm excited what's next to come. It's obviously a really long one, so I expect a lot to happen, but it's definitely a heavier book and not just a light fluffy romance, because I feel like over the past 4 books we've uncovered so much about these characters and their journey and what's fucked up about them, because they're all fucked up in so many different ways. So it's a dark one. It really goes into the dark, but I am excited to keep reading. I think it's still a really fast read, like it is going to be a fast one. So my goal, okay, I'm going to tell you my goal. So I still have all of tomorrow, but ideally today I would get at least halfway through Magnolia Parks, if not a bit more than halfway. Like 75% would be like my goal. Like if I got to page like 500 today, that would be amazing. But 50% is also fine. As long as I get to 50%, I'm happy, because then I can read the rest of it tomorrow and then start another book and then see how far I get. I mean, I might not finish the 1,500 pages because that was quite ambitious from the start, and I am just still battling a migraine, and the weather is really not helping because it's like over 30 degrees and it's constantly like storming and thundering, and I can just tell that it's taking a toll on my health, and like my migraine is in full force all day long. So yeah, maybe it'll be better tomorrow. I don't really think so, but we can keep our fingers crossed. But for now, I think I'm going to change into some comfy clothes and get out of this dress, because as cute as it looks, it's not the comfiest thing. So I'm going to go change and cozy up with my book in bed and read some more. Guys, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Magnolia Parks has just made me fucking cry. I just read such an emotional scene that was so sad, and it wasn't even anything like romance related, it was completely unrelated, but it made me fucking sob. Like, I had a tear going down my cheek still full of tears. I cannot believe that Magnolia Parks made me cry. Like, I never thought I would see the day, because when I first started reading Magnolia Parks, I was like, this is kind of trashy romance, like, I'm just reading this because it's fast and easy and trashy, and like I love a trashy book, but it's made me cry. What the fuck? Anyways, I'm like 175 pages in. We still have a long way to go. I'm definitely not reading it as fast as I thought I would, but I'm not super tired yet, so I'm gonna keep going. But what the fuck? Good morning. Please ignore the wet hair. I just showered. But yeah, it's the next morning. It's actually really late because I had a bit of a lie-in, and then I got a work email that was asking me to like really quickly do something, so I had to immediately jump on that and like immediately do the work. So it is actually already like 1 p.m, almost 2 p.m, so it is quite late in the day, but it is the next day and I'm here to update you on my reading progress. So last night I read a lot more of Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I got up to page 470, which is 65% of the way through. So I am now over halfway into Magnolia Parks. We're really far into it. I think, I didn't check, but if I counted correctly, we have about 850 pages left. So we're under 1,000 pages now. We only have about 850 pages left, which is still a lot. And I don't actually think I will be finishing it in the 48 hours, just because some stuff came up, and I now actually have a really busy day because in 2 hours I have a meeting with a friend for like an event that we're planning. And I had forgotten that I said to him that like today is a good day for me to meet up, because I hadn't thought about me doing the 48-hour readathon. So now I have to do that. I'm hoping it won't take too long and I'll be back after like 2 hours or so latest. I don't really see it taking too long because we just have to like organize some stuff, send some emails, do some planning. But yeah, that's gonna be done. So I need to do that, and then I also kind of promised my flatmate that we would do some friendship bracelets tonight, that we would just make a little setup in the kitchen and make some friendship bracelets, which I do really want to do, and I don't really like cancelling social plans to read, because I think that's not the point of reading. Reading should always be a hobby, but I should not be cancelling like my social plans for reading. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and read as much as I can today, but if I don't finish the 1,500 pages today, which I won't, I'm already going to tell you, there's no chance I'm reading 850 pages before midnight today. I will probably just like carry over the hours that I didn't read into tomorrow and just kind of prolong the 48 hours by a little bit more, so that instead of finishing tomorrow at 12, we might finish like tomorrow 6 p.m, tomorrow 8 p.m, maybe tomorrow at midnight. I don't know, but I'll just make it as long until I finish the 1,500 pages. I think that is actually a good plan. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Magnolia Parks now, because I've made a lot more progress and I'm so invested. There's so much trauma in this book, so much like family drama, and I think it's a really interesting change, because in the previous books, usually the biggest drama was between Magnolia and BJ, but this might be slight spoilers, but I don't think it's much of a spoiler. But in this book, we finally have Magnolia and BJ on the same team again. Like, they're finally working together, and they're finally kind of understanding each other and kind of on the same side as each other and not fighting with each other. Instead, they're now fighting other people, but together. Like, there's a lot of fights with Magnolia's parents or with other people in the friend group or something, you know. There's a lot of other things that are causing conflict, but it's not these two fighting. And I think that's really interesting because we didn't have that in the previous books a lot. Usually it was always Magnolia and BJ fighting and other people having to choose sides and pick whether they wanted to be on Magnolia's side or BJ's side. Now we don't have that anymore, and I'm finding that actually really refreshing and really, really cool, really well done, because it changes it up a little bit, and it means that this book feels very distinct to the other ones. Anyway, I'm already talking way too much, so I'm going to make some lunch, make a little salad or something, and I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna try and get maybe like 100 pages read before I have to go to my meeting, and then I will check back in with you guys probably after my meeting, because yeah, and then I'll tell you how far I got and what my plan for the rest of the evening is, because I'm still planning to finish Magnolia Parks today, if I can. I have like 300 pages left, so we'll see. Hello. Welcome to my balcony. It's now the next day, obviously, and I did make some progress. I got up to page, I think, 630 of Magnolia Parks. I completely forgot what was the last point I updated you on, but yeah, we're now up to page 630, and my current plan for the day is to just sit here on my balcony and keep reading. I'm going to finally finish Magnolia Parks. I have less than 100 pages left, so I'm like 100% confident that I can finish it. And then I'm going to try and read as much as I can of the Grady Hendrix, My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I'm not entirely sure if I'll manage to finish it today. I wanted to finish it because then I would be like super on top of my reading challenge, because in the process of filming the 48-hour readathon, I fell behind a book more on my reading challenge. Like, I was 2 books behind, which I was like, fine, I'll finish 2 books in the process. Then I finished Reserved, and then I checked my story graph, and it was like, you were 2 books behind, and I was like, no, I finished one. But in the process of the 48 hours, I fell behind another book, if that makes any sense. So I'm now like really far behind, pretty much. So I'm still fighting with the Goodreads challenge, but we'll see. I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to move until I finish Magnolia Parks, and then I will update you. I have made a big coffee to motivate me. I will also need to make some food at some point because I am pretty much starving, but I'm motivated. We're ready to go. Let's do this. This book is making me cry. I'm reading the most perfect scene, and this book is actually gonna make me cry. What the fuck? I love it. I'm so sorry, but you cannot just write these words and expect me not to cry. Like, you are the thing that the poets wrote about. You are what the choir of angels is singing about. You are the thing that clouds part above and the sun beams down upon. You're every butterfly in every stomach. You're my every tender thought. How do you expect me not to cry? What the fuck, Magnolia Parks? When did you turn from a silly romance book that was horribly written to the most beautiful piece of literature I've ever read? Like, what happened? How did we get here? I'm confused. Do you see this? Do you see the tears? What the fuck? What the fuck? What is this book doing to me? I can't. I actually fucking can't. I'm crying. I'm back in my room. Happy to report that I finished Magnolia Parks. I hope you enjoyed the crying montage that I just did. If it looks like I cried, it's because I did. I literally just spent the last like 30 pages of it sobbing. What the fuck was that? It was so beautiful. If you've read Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, you will know what happens. I can't really say a lot because it would be spoilers, but just know that I'm pretty sure this is the last book about BJ and Magnolia, and it's the most perfect ending for these two that you could have imagined. Like, they have gone through so much growth, and actually this is something I wanted to talk about because I think BJ, I hated him in the first book, even like the second. I was like, you know what, like, he's just an awful person. In this book, BJ has so much growth and he turns into a different person. Like, he goes through so much maturing and so much growing up, and like, he has the correct priorities, he does the right things, and he does everything for Magnolia. Like, the man is perfect, or he's become perfect. And I don't say this lightly because I am a BJ hater. Like, I was a BJ hater at the start. I'm pretty sure if you go back to my vlogs where I read Magnolia Parks, like, I think I read Daisy Hates, and I think I even read The Long Way Home in a vlog. I don't remember. It was one of the first vlogs on my channel, and if you go back there, you will see me be a BJ hater firsthand. You won't recognize me because I've changed my opinion about BJ a lot. He has become so much better, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm actually just like really, really, really proud. These characters have come so far, even Magnolia as well. Like, she goes through so much and she actually grows a lot. And at first I really, really didn't like the characters because I was like, for being like 20, 21, 22, they are so fucking immature and so spoiled and just not really relatable. But as we've kind of gone on through the series, so much dramatic shit has happened to them, and so much has come out that we didn't know at the start of the series that makes you understand them as characters and the reasons for why they do stuff so much better. And I think that's the real like reason I like the series, is that so much at first I judged the characters for what they did, and then so much of it is explained later, and you really start to sympathize, that's a word, sympathize with the characters, and you start to empathize with them, and like, you start to think that maybe they had reasons for the way they're acting, and that's really beautiful. I love this. I actually ended up giving this 5 stars, and if you told me like last year when I first read the first Magnolia Parks book that I would end up giving the last one 5 stars and think it's a literary masterpiece, I would have laughed in your face. But I think it was beautiful. I think it was lovely. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break just to refresh my mind because I always feel like I can't go straight into another book. But I'm still planning to read a little bit of My Best Friend's Exorcism tonight. I would really like to get through maybe just half of this. I'm now officially only 1 book behind, and I'm about still like 650, 700 pages behind, which of course over the 48 hours, and now it's been over 48 hours, more pages have added to the amount because I obviously need to read a certain amount every day, because every day we progress a day in the year. You know how reading goals work. But yeah, so I'm still 650 pages behind roughly, but I'm okay with that. I think over the course of August I will do so much reading because I will be on vacation, I don't have to do uni, I will be buying new books, and I'm also I have a really exciting TBR. I didn't do like a TBR that picks my August reads because I have so many books that I'm so excited to, that I just really want to get to this month, so I've just kind of compiled my TBR myself. Sorry. I'm excited. I really love reading. I'm out of my reading slump. I have time to read, I have time to make videos, and I'm really excited to be back. But yeah, this is probably my second to last update, so I will read some of this, and if I pick it up, I will tell you all about it later. But for now, I'm going to take a short break from reading, and then I'll get started on this. Hello guys, good evening. I've got myself a drink because I deserve it, and yeah, I wanted to do my last little check-in because I did in fact start reading, oh my god, I started reading My Best Friend's Exorcism by Gertie Hendricks. I'm not too far in yet, only like 50 pages or so, but I thought I could do a tiny little check-in and speak to you guys about what it's about. Essentially, it's giving me like 80s horror movie vibes. It's very much like set in the 80s in America. I think it's set in Charleston, if I picked that up correctly. Basically, we follow a girl, Abby, and her friend who comes from a very, very conservative Christian family, and they are kind of like both a bit loners, and they team up and are friends, and we just kind of follow them. But in the first page, or like the prologue, we already got kind of teased that obviously this is about her best friend having an exorcism. So I assume that Gretchen is the one who's going to be possessed, and we're gonna experience a full-on exorcism, I guess, and I'm excited for it. I don't really know where it's going yet. I don't know if this is gonna turn like fully supernatural or how it's gonna go, but knowing Grady Hendrix, it's gonna be insane. This is, I think, my third or maybe fourth Grady Hendrix. I think my third. I've read How to Sell a Haunted House and Horror Store. I'm unsure if I've read another one, maybe, but definitely one of his most hyped ones and one of the ones I was most excited for. So I'm excited to continue this, but I think for now I'm going to, just have an early night because I'm feeling really tired and I've done so much reading over the last few days that I'm just so knocked out. I'm just feeling so tired and worn out from reading that I think I'm going to have an early night, go to sleep, and have a fresh start into a reading week on Monday. I should first edit this video and upload it and get back into the habit of uploading, because right now I have not posted in over a month, so yeah. I will be getting back to posting more regularly though, because I have a lot of energy and a lot of fun creative ideas for videos, or just a lot of video concepts that I want to film and I want to put out, so there will be more. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this 48-hour, kind of longer than 48 hours, but kind of also flop readathon because I didn't finish the 1,500 pages. But I think overall I read almost 1,000 pages, which is so good because that means that in the first like 3-4 days of August I read 1,000 pages, which is more than I read in the entirety of June or July. So I've already done more reading in the first 4 days than I did in each of the last 2 months. So I'm gonna say it's a win regardless. And yeah, I'm gonna now go to bed, finish my drink first, and then go to sleep. And yeah, I will see you again hopefully next week. And thank you so much for watching, and see you then.